All right, guys, hey, we're going to focus on really quick how to work through the non-resident licensing process, right? So once you're licensed, adding another state to your available states that you're allowed to write business in is pretty easy. You have to pay the state fee, whatever it is, and then you have to fill out a non-resident application form. You sign it, I sign it, we send it to the regional licensing center. Once they process it, you go into your payment center, pay it, and then within about 24 hours after that, you'll be appointed. Usually from start to finish, the process takes anywhere from 3 to 5 business days. Depends on the state that you're applying for, depends on you, and depends on how much you like call and bug the regional licensing center. Also depends on the regional licensing center themselves, because certain ones in certain states, they only process on certain days. This is stuff that is not written anywhere. Like this is all stuff that you just kind of figured out by doing it. Like Georgia, for example, only processes non-resident licenses on Thursdays. Don't ask me why, because I don't know, right? But look, if you're doing anything when it comes to your licensing, I would always start at the place that says life licensing, right? All of those gray things at the top are drop downs. So let's just cover it really quick, right? So my POL, all apps, that's where you go for everything in the business. Competition scoreboard, if you ever want to look up anything, it's literally there. You can look up everything imaginable, right? Training and development, self-explanatory. Life licensing, securities licensing, other licensing, right? Like if you wanted to get variable annuities, property and casualty, all sorts of other stuff, right? Maintaining your license when it comes time to do your
Go get
continuing
your
education every 2 years.
now. Come
Who's
on.
talking?
Okay, great. Go get your.
All right, thanks, Traylon. Products, like if you ever need like actual like, information on anything, everything is here. Like if you ever wonder, like, hey, where do I get that flyer for PLPP, right? Right here. Everything is here, guys, right? Field support, if you need anything in there, I don't think I've ever done anything in there, but hey, it's there. And then compliance. Okay. So life licensing, get your life license. When it comes to the actual life license process, well, do you think it would be under licensing or education? Probably under licensing. And then go to the state that you want, right? Like so I know Emily, right? She's licensed in Texas. That's her resident license, but they just moved to Missouri. And so let's go look at Missouri. So we'll do this as if she was here, right? Missouri. Look, she's not getting a resident license in Missouri, and she's also not going to be there forever. So we're not going to transfer her resident license to Missouri. So we're just going to get her a non-resident license. So click the button and assuming it loads, all of the instructions per state will load. There we go. Okay, well let's biggie size this because they make the words super small because apparently we all need to train our eyes. Okay, so most of this stuff you can sort of ignore when it comes to like all of the processing and stuff. If you already have a resident license, getting a non-resident license is pretty much a foregone conclusion as long as you pay the fee and fill out the form. Your background is good. Your everything is good. Now, the only thing that sometimes is weird is say you're a Michigan resident license, and Michigan as a state does not require you to get fingerprints. Well, if you're getting licensed in a state that requires fingerprints, you will have to get those fingerprints. Okay. Conversely, if you are, say, in South Carolina and you want a non-resident license in Florida, Florida has different fingerprinting requirements. They're more stringent. They do more with them. Don't ask me what, I don't know, right? But Florida, California, New York, they have more stringent fingerprinting process. And so reciprocation, right? Like if you have fingerprints from Florida or California or New York, they're good in every other state. And there's a bunch of other ones that are sort of like reciprocal as well. But your fingerprints that you did in South Carolina will not work for Florida. Just random facts, right? And so in order to get a license, right, you have to have a valid social, you have to apply, obviously, they're not just going to give it to you. And then the fees apply for that state. Fees are different for every state because insurance is a state regulated commodity. Okay. So when you apply, you'll go to NIPR. the National Insurance Producers Registry. You'll apply, you'll fill it out, pay the state fee. Sometimes within like 20 minutes, it'll come back and it'll say accepted. Okay. So overall process, but that doesn't mean you can go write business. That just means the state approved it. Now, you don't have to wait for the state to approve it to send in the non-resident application. Okay. And we're gonna go over that here in a second. So this always says it, but unless you're applying for a New York license, don't worry about it. Right? The $30 check or money order, don't worry about that. We pay it all in the payment center now. It's a slightly different process. It changed this year, but this will start to catch up. Okay, so if you are planning to do more than one state, right? Like let's say like Haley, all of a sudden she's like got a huge market in like Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, like that whole like Four Corners area, right? She's like, "Oh, man, I just want to do this one time." Well, when you go to Nipper, which we'll do right now, let's show you, right? When you go here, right? Licensing, apply, start, boom, right? So this is what it looks like. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. If I'm doing this for myself, right? You just put in your license number, your NPN, or your social, and it'll kind of walk you in. And as long as you already have a license, again, pretty self-explanatory. You fill it out. The questions are going to be the exact same as the background questions when you did your licensing in the very beginning. Assuming nothing has changed, the answer should be all either like no or not applicable. Okay. Then you pay whatever that state fee is. Like, so in this example for Missouri, we were looking at 30 bucks. Okay. 30 bucks is the fee to Nipper into the state. All right. When it comes time to actually apply and pay your stuff with Primerica for the appointment portion, that's like it's a $30 separate fee for the processing. You're essentially paying for the extra work that the regional licensing center people are doing, right? Because it's above and beyond what would be normally done for you as a resident agent. Okay. And it tells you that right here. The $30 processing fee is pretty much every state, right? Whenever you apply, that's just like the handling fee to get that stuff done for you. Now, the state fee itself, it's weird that it's not on here. It must be really, Missouri must be really low, but there, it's always something, right? It's always something. Every state is different. California, I think, is like 250, 400, something like that. Illinois is like 800. It's insane. Like Ohio is like 8. Michigan, 10 or something, right? Um, it's very low. It's very low. And so just to give you an idea, so you can kind of see, right? You said Ohio, you got family in Ohio. There you go. 10 bucks, right? So 10 bucks in Ohio, and then the $30 processing and life appointment. So this goes to Primerica, that goes to the state. If you're like, well, why is it different? Because every state's different. It just is, right? Let's look at the non-resident request form because this never changes. This never changes. And so what I always tell people to do on the very first one is fill out every single piece of information that's never going to change. Okay. So your name, your license number, your birthday, your email, home address. The business address is the office address in Tampa, right? So the 14497 Northdale Mabry. If you don't have that, I'll put it in the team chat or for the producers, right? Don't sign it, don't date it, right? Fill out my name, Noah McQueen, CNR3V. Again, don't sign it, don't date it. Save that as your non-res document. And then when you go to apply for a state, save it as Ohio, save it as Missouri, save it as whatever, because then you don't have to fill the whole thing out over and over and over again. Okay. That's the easy button, right? When you are done with that, you need to send this document once you sign it and I sign it. The only reason I have to sign it or that they want a regional vice president to sign it is so that it had another set of eyes on it to make sure that it's not incomplete. Because if you send it into the RLC and they go through the process of getting ready to do it and it's wrong, now you've just wasted everybody's time, right? So that's the whole purpose is so somebody else signs it. And so all of the instructions are down here, right? In terms of the new processing, it explains everything on how to get there in terms of like where the payment center is. You can do it from the app, you can do it from POL, it's all here, but that's where you go. And then it goes to pay fees, right? So this is from POL payment center, right? Why does it keep doing this? God, there's like 97 different ways to get to everything in POL. Pick one that works for you and stick with it, okay? But when it comes to pay fees, it'll say payment center select fee and it'll be there. It'll show. It's like state. Okay. It's not like there's not just like random fees hanging out for you. It's per the thing that you're doing. So um yeah, payment center is super easy. It's actually way easier than before because you used to have to fill out your credit card information on the actual form itself. And so that was annoying. But this is what it looks like now. And then once you're done with that, you send it into the specific state that governs the state that you're applying for from a regional licensing perspective. Okay. Now, Ohio, for like some of these states will say do it through Vertafore or Circon, whatever. Just do it through Nipper. It's way easier. Circon sucks. Right? And they only cover like 10 states anyway. So just do everything through Nipper. It's way easier. And if you're doing it and you're filling out all the questionnaires and you're going to do more than one state at once, you can do it in one application on Nipper, but you have to do this form per state and you have to send individual emails per thing that need to be completed, transacted. Okay. Think about it as like if you were sending a workflow process to somebody and you sent, but it's like they have to like see it, get it, check it off, done, right? And if you have like 10 things in one, there's no way, like they might miss one. They might miss one. And so, yeah, RLC will email you when you're ready to go. And then the next day when you log in on your quote tool, you'll see like Georgia, Ohio, right? And then you know you're legal to go write business in that state because you're appointed in that state. It just means you're legal to go write business. Okay.
When you email them and like submit the paperwork to them, they email back and tell you to go to the payment center before they process it.
That's new because before they would not tell you to go to the payment center until it was ready to go.
Because like when my Ohio one, I had to go to the payment center and they were just letting it sit because I called them and I was like, I've already paid. It's like when I've submitted my paperwork to them, like emailing them, they email back and tell me that the payment center's ready. I need to go there and pay.
Okay, well then that in that situation, that's normally then like they processed it really fast because normally it won't show up in your payment center until it's ready to actually appoint. And then it goes the next day. You can check, right? But without them processing it, right? It wouldn't show up in your payment center. There's no way for it to show up in your payment center unless the ROC has actually worked through the transaction. Okay. And then the last piece is whenever you send in an email to the RLC, it will tell you right here, submit the following to the RLC. If you click it, it'll take you to the hyperlink of which one is for specifically, right? There's only a few. Tennessee covers like 12 states. Florida covers two, three states, right? California covers like 15. It's insane. If you have questions on any of this, right, just follow the instructions in POL. And if you need help, that like Angela, your trainer, right? Haley's done several now at this point. Jen's done a few at this point. I've done like 90,000 of them, I feel like, I swear, because I've done 40 for myself and helped countless people along the way, right? So that's what non-resident licensing looks like. And what I'll tell you is like, look, the license is going to be good for 2 years, right? If you're at a 50 or 60% contract and the license costs you 30 bucks, maybe 60 by the time you pay for the thing, but you write one app, you're going to make 300, 400, 500, and it's good for 2 years. And when it comes time to do your continuing education, you only do it for your resident state. You don't have to do continuing education in my case for 40 states. You just do it for your resident state. If there's anything like specifically weird, like New York, right? I think New York had like a cybersecurity training I had to do before I got appointed. Okay.
They still have the cybersecurity, and they added one more.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just like a 30-minute video. You can't fail it, right? And Webb said, some states are longer than two. Even sometimes your resident state, your initial license appointment can be for longer than 2 years because sometimes it depends on your birthday and the renewal like time frame, right? So Melissa's for whatever reason, when she got licensed based on her birthday, her initial license was good for 3 years. It just you never know, right? And so if you ever wonder and you're like, oh man, like when is this coming up? When is my license need to be renewed? When does XYZ? Well, go to My POL and go to all apps. This is your back office, right? This is where all of the things live. And if you're ever wondering what's going on with your license, well, License Manager is the place. So here you go. Now, obviously, this is just me. I asked Angela to talk to Erica today because I was like, well, how do I look this up for the team? Right? I wanted to see where everybody's licenses are, especially with annual compliance coming up and kind of wanting to know like where everybody's at, right? And so look at the expiration date, right? So the expiration date on my Alabama license is New Year's Day. Arkansas 2026. Some of these 2027, right? Some of them I just renewed recently. Some of them I need to renew soon, right? September, there's a ton, right? So Nebraska is no longer there. New Jersey is no longer there. Why? I let them go. I didn't have anybody in those places. Like New Jersey, I think was a few $100. I'm not paying to do that if I don't have anybody there. I don't have anybody in Utah, right? Nobody in Wisconsin anymore. Nobody in Wyoming. So these are licenses that I had that I just let go because like I don't care anymore, right? I had them once upon a time. The policy that I wrote back in the day paid for that non-resident license, and I didn't do it to renew it because I didn't need it, right? All of these, like the next time I have to renew these are coming up in Christmas for some. So when that time comes,
Now,
what?
will the states, even though you let the license fall off, will it stay in there, or will those eventually clear out so you only see what you currently have?
Uh, it's a good question. It'll probably eventually clear out at some point. I think it was more along the lines of you were licensed there once upon a time, so it's showing you. I don't know, right? I don't know. Um, they will they will likely at some point clear out, but I don't know. Because like, where's Illinois? I used to be Illinois. Yeah, so they clear out because I used to have Illinois, but it's been about a year since I carried an Illinois license. So right, so that's gone. Um, I think these are probably still here because I'm technically still in my renewal window because they just lapsed on September 30th. A lot of states, your license will follow your birth month. And so, like when the renewals come, it'll either follow your birth month, it'll follow the end of the year, which is why some of those were 12/31. Some of them, I think New York is like a March renewal, regardless. Again, every state's different. So just go through it and you'll kind of figure that out as you go. But at the end of the day, just who cares, right? If you need the license, go get it. Go get it. Questions on any of that before I move on to the next thing?
I had one. I just looked at my Alabama, and so I just got it in August, but it,
Hmm?
it still expires on
And
12/31/25.
so
So
it's
is that
it,
just
it's
do
a
it?
year thing,
Okay.
right? And so based on when you got it, the renewal was coming up. Sometimes they expire and renew on odd years, right? So if you when you renew it this time,
Mhm.
you'll likely see that it won't expire again until what, 27 probably. And it could even go 28.
Okay.
Like this is one of those things where like people say, "Well, how do you know?" Like, who cares? If you need it, go get it and figure it out. Like it doesn't matter, right? That goes back to like people create problems before they exist. If you need it, just get it. Who cares?
Okay.
Right? And then when it comes time to renew it, what is it going to be? $30, 40, 50? I don't know. But think about back to like the fact that one app is going to pay for it for
Mhm.
2 years, right?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, keep track of all this stuff, guys, because it's a business expense. It's a tax write-off, right? Your phone bill partially is a tax write-off. Your office that you're sitting in right now, Jen, is your home and now just became a portion of your business, right? Because you use that square footage. So let's say your office is 15 by 10. I don't know, right? So 150 square feet. Your house is, right, 1,500. I know it's bigger than that, but bear with me for the math. That means that 10% of your utility bill, 10% of your everything bill, 10% of your internet, 10% of your water bill, all of those things just became a write-off for your taxes.
Although we were in our CPA meeting last year and Dolph asked if he could write some of that off for Deloitte being at home. And she goes, "Oh, they got rid of that in Florida a long time ago. You can't do that." I was like,
Well,
"Really?"
one, that doesn't apply because Florida doesn't charge state income tax. Two,
Right.
we're talking federal taxes.
But yeah. I don't know. She didn't even offer it as like a, I
Now,
don't know.
the other thing to think about is if unless your deductions exceed the standard deduction that you would have anyway, it doesn't matter,
Right.
right? And so, like, unless you're doing like specific
Mm.
things, right, for different deductions, income streams, that sort of thing. But unless you're going to click over the standard deduction anyway, then right.
Matter.
Also, not a tax lawyer, not a tax accountant, not a CPA, consult your financial person that does your taxes, right? I know enough to be dangerous. Don't take any of this to the bank. Okay. Questions? Anything else on that? Okay. I'm gonna stop the recording here so we have it for that.